Coach Ricardo Miller, and I want to welcome you to the second day of May. Isn't it beautiful? Beautiful to have made it this far. Now we're asking God to help us navigate this thing so we can win in life. Good morning to each and every one of you. You guys are amazing. Now, here's the deal. We're studying because the Bible teaches us that we should study to show ourselves approved. And so, Sister Rosalind, you should look at everything. You should look at everything and pay attention. If you're a good doctor, you pay attention. If you're a good dentist, you pay attention. If you're a good lawyer, you pay attention. If you're a good mechanic, you pay attention. If you're a good children's director, you pay attention. If you're a good husband, you pay attention. If you're a good leader, you pay attention. Well, here's the deal. If you're a good person, you pay attention. Paying attention is necessary. Paying attention is necessary for effective living. If you don't pay attention, you could be losing and unaware of where you're losing from. Okay? So good morning to each and every one of you. Thank you so much for joining me this morning. I am in love with the opportunity that God has given us to be able to join during morning times like this. You know, the truth is hard. How many of y'all agree the truth is hard? And a lot of people, they want freedom, but they don't want to hear the truth. They want freedom, but they don't want to hear the truth. And the truth is hard. I know that. This is not easy for me. I have difficulties, Miss Brenda. I have difficulties, Miss Susie, trying to work this thing out. Boy, Coach Miller, he's on to something. Well, the reality of it is, I really believe that, but it's equally hard for me to work through this. But here's what I found out, Brittany. Here's what I found out. That the more you do right, even though it's difficult, the easier it becomes. Let me say that again. The more you do right, even though it's difficult initially, the easier it becomes. A few months ago, I encouraged all of you guys to read what they call the 5 a.m. club. I get up at 5 a.m. every morning, 5 a.m. And the guy gave solid reasons why to start your day that early. Well, a lot of people say, oh, I don't know if I can do that. I don't know if I can do it. You can do whatever you put your mind to. According to your purpose and your giftingness and the ability to create, you can do so much more. You can do so much more. And so here's the deal. John chapter 10 verses 10. John 10 verses 10. Listen to what it says. I am come that you may have life. I am come that you may have life, and that they may have it more abundantly. Most people don't feel like they have life. Most people feel as though they're just surviving. Most people are trying to make it, and I'm saying, study your life. Study what's working. Study what's not working. Once you start to identify what's true, the Bible teaches us that the truth will set us free. So I'm in pursuit of truth because I want to be free. Now, when I examine my life, remember now, as a good person, as a kingdom-minded individuals, you have to study to show yourself approved. Study your life and in the area that your life is not working. Now, here's what I know. This is what I've learned lately. Even though you discover truth, truth doesn't automatically apply itself to your life because you discovered it. Let me say that again. Not because you discover truth means that it automatically applies itself because you're aware of the truth. Let's go into our teaching today. Many people live a life of constant reaction. Constant reaction, jumping from one crisis to another, trying to catch their breath. It's just, coach is always something. Coach is always something. Go ahead, Miss Susie. Look at the people and ask your question. Why is it always something? Why is it always something? Why is all May come across to be the same way for you? Why is it that all summer is coming across the same way for you? Why is it that weekends are the same way for you? Why is it that when you get pay, it's the same way for you? Why is it that Mondays you dread getting out of bed? Why is it that it's when it ain't something, it's the other? So now you got to ask yourself, this way of living becomes familiar that it feels normal. So there are some people, Miss Linda, going from crisis to crisis has become normal. Well, you know, Miller, that's just the way it is. You know, watch this, Miss Linda. Watch this. Some people say, well, you know, life isn't easy. Life isn't easy. You know, and here's what I found, Miss Linda. You're an educator, you're a teacher. Here's what I found. Your lack of skill makes whatever it is you're trying difficult. Come on. Ain't that good? Your lack of skill. I have a number of areas that are difficult. So I could say building a business is hard. But there are a lot of people, they can build businesses and they sleep. And then there are some people, I could say, boy, playing the piano is hard. And then there are some people who could play the piano in their sleep. I could say teaching a class of children is hard. And you know, and somebody else will say, man, give me 1,000 kids in an auditorium and I will rock it. I mean, listen, acquired skill, watch this, y'all. Acquired skill removes this required skill moves this difficulties. Required skill moves difficulties. When you acquire a skill, it eases the pressure, removes a lot of the difficulties. When you practice the acquired skill in a respective area, be it carpentry, be it mechanic, be it cooking, be it, come on, man, be it dealing with difficult people. Acquired skill. Write this down. Everybody write this down. Lord, help me to acquire the appropriate skill to winning in life. Come on, write that down for me. Lord, help me to acquire the appropriate skills to winning in life. Because what I don't want to do is I don't want to escape, run to what everybody else is running to, and that is a lie. Ministry is hard. That's a lie. But it's the truth to the person who's saying it. Cooking is hard. That's a lie. But it's the truth to the person who's saying it. Boy, making money is hard. That's not true, but it's the truth to the person who's saying it. So, but because you haven't acquired the skill, we oftentimes run to the term of it's difficult. I'm saying, watch what you say and understand what you perceive as difficult. Somebody has discovered how to acquire the skill in that area and they're doing well. There was a time I was shy and afraid to speak. There was a time I didn't want to go on a stage. There was a time when I did lives like this, Miss Linda, years ago. When I started doing my lives like this, I would sweat like I was running a marathon. And it wasn't sweat because the room was hot. It was sweat because I was so nervous and I was so unsure of myself that when I got on the live, oh my God, Miss Sonia, I started sweating because of nervousness. Now, I had some skill, but I also had a high level of fear. I'm here this morning to teach that if you acquire the appropriate skill in the area where you're having difficulties, you can remove a lot of the difficulties, if not all of the difficulties. So write this down. Lord, help me to acquire the appropriate skill to accomplish the things I need to do in this life. So we are not created to live from crisis to crisis. God's intention is for us to live abundantly, not in anxiety. Some people, Miss Sonia, some people are living from one issue to the next and constant chaos to the point where they start saying things that's not true, but it's true to them. Boy, life is hard. Boy, coach, life is hard. You don't understand, coach. You don't understand. Crisis to crisis living keeps you in survival mode. Crisis to crisis living keeps you in survival mode. Write this down, guys. I was not created to live in survival mode. I was not created to live in survival mode. Please get that in your spirit. Get that in your head. I was not created to live in survival mode. So that's the reason why I wrote the book, Burn the Rule Book. Because we have these rules that have been holding us back. It's not been working, but you've been living based on those rules. Now you have to draw up a plan. The Bible says, write the vision. Make it plain. Identify how you should show up in the world. How am I going to live moving forward? I was not created to live in survival mode. No, I don't want to live like that. So, survival mode, ladies and gentlemen, robs us of peace. It drains us of our energy and it clouds our judgment. People who are living in survival mode, they run from one mistake, making the other mistake, making another mistake, making another mistake. The longer we ignore this pattern, knowing that we've been not addressing issues, we have poor habits, and we have a lack of planning that is intentional to bring us into a place of success and prosperity and winning. Miller, life is hard. Life will have its difficult points, but if life is repeatedly hard, it's like failing a class. Miss Sonia, you're an educator. If a child is failing every year, there is a critical need for an assessment. Something's wrong. Do you agree with that, Miss Linda? Do you agree with that, Miss Sonia? Both of you, educators. Miss Cynthia, you're an educator. Do you agree with that? If a child is failing every year, somebody ought to stop and say, we need to do an assessment. Something's wrong. Come on, you going to school every day. You going to school every day. Why are you failing every day? Why are you failing every year? Right? You got to do an assessment. And I'm here today to tell you, us as adults, don't let age play with you. Do an assessment. How am I doing? So here's the deal. The longer we ignore patterns, behavior that simply address issues, we realize the child is failing. We realize we're failing. We're not doing well. But the longer we fail to address that pattern, that behavior, that habit, the deeper it digs itself into our daily lives. So what happens, Miss Linda? A kid who isn't learning, eventually, guess what they say? You start to just say, well, I'm slow. And then they just start labeling him. Well, you know he's slow. Well, you know he can't learn. That's not true. That's not true. He may need glasses. Come on. He may not be hearing the teacher. Come on. He may need a different approach to seeing the subject matter at hand. But because we keep ignoring it, he keeps getting older, he keeps failing, you keep seeing him fail, so now you start saying he can't learn, he starts saying he can't learn. Guess what he starts to believe? I can't learn. I can't learn. If we can get a whale to do what we want, if we can get a lion to do what we want, if we can get a seal, come on. If we can get this, I'm here today to tell you there is a need to have an assessment, not only on the life of your children, but the life that you have created for yourself. That's what effective living is about. I've been praying and I've been asking God, help me to do an assessment on who I am, where I'm going, moving forward. I don't want to just keep going through the motion. I don't want to be the guy who has truth, but no manifestation of the truth. I don't want to be the guy who's on the stage talking a good idea, but aren't fully manifesting that good idea. So with that said, it's time to examine what's really happening in our lives. What's really happening? I'm asking myself some real questions. Study the signs, people. Study the signs. Paycheck to paycheck living, that's not right. Constantly sick, that's not right. Have no friends, that's not right. People constantly taking advantage of you, that's not right. Can't sleep at night, that's not right. Come on, man, come on. There is just so much. No one is, watch this. No one is acknowledging your gift to the building, to the office, to the company, to the department, and everyone else is getting promoted around you. That's not right. You have to study the signs. What am I doing wrong? What can I make adjustments to? Someone is watching you fail who is capable of helping you, and they're not saying anything because you are okay where you are. Look at your decisions. Okay, I got to finish this up. Ask yourself hard questions. Hard questions. I love my wife Karen and I. Lately, we've been asking each other hard questions. Going there. Listen, guys. If you are unafraid to go there, you'll never be free. Let me say that again. If you are afraid to go there, you will never be free. Okay? The longer you ignore the pattern, the deeper it digs itself in. So here's your takeaway today. Number one, you were not created to live in constant survival mode. So you got to remind yourself, I was not created to live in constant survival mode. I mean, like the stress level for living constantly in survival mode is not good. Okay? So just grab a hold of that. Number two, awareness of your patterns is the first step to change. The awareness of your pattern. You realize, I remember years ago, all the time, I would go ahead and I would pull up and get coffee, expensive coffee. Years ago, I would just go ahead and always just eat donuts. I had food in the refrigerator, but I was still going through the drive-through. Listen, I remember going in my closet and I had more than a dozen pieces of clothes that had tags still on them, but yet I was at the outlet. I was at the outlet still buying more clothes because you know what I wasn't doing? I wasn't studying my patterns. I wasn't paying attention to my behavior. Now, watch this. I was shopping, didn't need to shop, but didn't have anything in savings. Come on. Didn't have anything to save. Then I'm saying, boy, these people need to pay me more. Who needs to pay you more when you ain't managing what has been given to you already? You've got to manage what has been given to you already. And so number two, awareness of your pattern is the first step to change. You got to, what behaviors have I been embracing? I remember years ago, I used to just put $5 gas, $10 gas in my car. And every other day I had to go to the gas station. I learned that's not a healthy way. You're wasting so much time. It's just better to fill the car up on the weekend. Oh, that's a whole different mindset. Okay, number three, intentional living starts with write this down. Intentional living starts with honest self-examination. Let me say it again. Intentional living starts with honest self-examination. Another way to say it is effective living starts with honest self-examination. Most of us don't want to look at us. Most of us aren't willing to go there. If you are unwilling to go there, you will never change. If you are unwilling to go there, you will never be free. You have to be willing to go there. It's not going to be easy. If it was easy, everybody would be doing really well. But most people are living in survival mode because they don't want to go there. It's painful to go there. To identify your deficiency. The child who is failing in school, if the parent would go there, they will accept the fact that the child is deaf. They'll accept the fact that your child needs glasses. They'll accept the fact that the child is ADHD, the child has dyslexia, the child. You will start to realize, this child has an issue, but if you study the issue, you can beat it by navigating around it with a plan that makes it work out for the child's good. Well, the same thing with us. You make good money, but you don't have any. You're surrounded by people, but you don't claim to have friends. You feel as though you've lived a long time, but you can't see what you have done with the time that you've lived. Listen, guys, if you're afraid to confront it, you'll never change. You've got to be willing to address this whole I am not going to live crisis to crisis. So as I close out this morning, remember this. If your circle is embracing crisis to crisis living, if your conversation and your behavior or mindset is leaning around, that's just the way it is, Miller, you will never change. The truth will set you free. And not the truth you've accepted, it's the truth that God has established. So when you read your Bible, you start to understand. He says, I am come that you have life. Now, if you don't feel like you have life and have life more abundantly, you need to do an assessment. That's why I'm a life coach. That's why I'm a life management coach. I like what I do. I'm not taking everybody for a client. I need the right people to work with, people who says, Miller, I want to go there. I want to go there. I wrote a couple of books, and those books are very helpful for those people who are leaning into the book, because it'll work if you work it. Have a phenomenal day. It's the second day of May. Listen, guys, this second quarter is going to be over real soon, and I want all of us to go up together. I want to see everybody win. I want to see everybody thrive, but I know that's not going to be easy. It requires another level of discipline. Thank you for subscribing to my YouTube channel. Thank you for following me Monday through Fridays. Thank you for your generous seed or donation. Those of you who went and purchased my book, thank you very much. Today, we're doing a book signing in Red Oak. If you're in the area, listen, message me and say, hey, Mel, I want to come over to Red Oak and hang out with you guys as you do this book signing. And then in 2 weeks, I'm doing a whole series on Burn the Rule Book, Effective Living, Burn the Rule Book, why this is necessary for next level living. God bless you guys. Have a phenomenal day. I will see you back here on Monday. Same time, same place. YouTube is where it's at, Miss Sonia. Make sure you connect with me there. God bless you guys. Bye-bye.